Hello and welcome back. Today I have got a few new products, new ingredients and new food trends to discuss with our normals. Some of them we found at the IFE, some of them are just new in the, foodie ethos. We want to know what our normals think.
What's the IFE?
The IFE is the International Food Expo, I think. It happened just down the road from us and I spent a few hours wandering around speaking to, people.
Trendy Ebbers.
Trendy Ebbers.
No, it's literally me and a clipboard. It's the least trendy thing ever. But I enjoy it. Do you want to lift it on number one?
Ready?
Yes.
Steady.
Go. Ooh. Sorry. Then I get 3 pots of green sludge.
Absolutely.
Are they green?
Immediate herbiness from these.
Yes. That's mint sauce, that one.
That's mint and fennel sauce.
Oh, okay, so play on the fennel. I'm going to tell you, there's no mint involved in any of these.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's taking a nice little lamb to come out.
But I know your thought process, and I know how you ended up at mint sauce. They are not
salt.
mint sauce.
Are they
Sweetened herb.
Are they herb oils?
Have a taste.
Wow.
Like herby blends.
These are herb sauces. They are the mint sauce equivalent, but in every other flavour you can imagine. Ambient storage, 2-year shelf life, convenient herbage for whenever you want it.
I've never heard of them, and these don't already exist. Like this is a new thing.
Well, it's so obvious because mint sauce has existed for ages and ages. This is an Italian brand that has launched these so that you can have a kick of a number of different herbs across your cooking straight from the cupboard.
Liquid herbs, basically. Liquid rosemary.
Now, interestingly, wherever you want to add some herby seasoning to a dish, a little bit of vinegar is probably not a bad thing either. We know that acid in the seasoning triangle is there for balance. So whilst you won't get the freshness of fresh herbs, you'll get a kick of the flavour with a hit of vinegar, and when you season with salt, it should just lift dishes in the same way mint sauce would.
I guess the thing with mint is the freshest of herbs in terms of it's one of the most zingy. So it kind of works really well with the vinegar. In these, I'd say the vinegar is more prominent because there isn't the sweet freshness to combat it.
If you know what you're looking for, you'll definitely find it.
Yeah.
But when you're tasting them blind, they all felt quite similar.
Yep. But I thought the herbs were an interesting twist as a contingency for midweek cooking when you just want a lift. Maybe more so in the winter when you have less of that freshness to your dishes anyway. How about something like this? So in front of you, you've got a bowl of leftovers, some tin food, some stuff we had in the fridge left over. It's one of those tossed together salads that, while there's interesting flavours and textures in there, is it going to feel fresh and vibrant? In theory, pinch of salt, glug of oil, and herbs of your choice should just bring it to life.
Bit of basil juice.
I don't call it basil juice.
Why not?
Please do not call
I'm
it
basil, this is my juice.
No. Oregano.
I mean, it's not the prettiest of stuff, is it? Once it's poured out.
No, for sure. If you compare, a bit like mint sauce in that way, it loses that vibrant green as soon as it's added to vinegar. It does have a 2-year shelf life though, so I wouldn't imagine your herbs would look too good after 2 years. So these have got a little bit of xanthan gum in them just to kind of hold it all together. But you could very easily, if you've got either a bounty of herbs in the summer or just some left over at the end of the week, you could blend up your own to make them last longer.
I've always got a mix of dried herbs. I very rarely have fresh at home now, especially in the winter.
And how often do you finish your cooking with a splash of cider vinegar, white wine vinegar?
Always.
Or a squeeze of lemon juice just to lift it?
Always something.
Do you know what? I only buy fresh herbs if I know that I've planned using Sidekick, because I know that I'll use them all. If not, I don't buy fresh herbs because I don't know where it's going to go.
But having these in the cupboard as not a last resort, but a contingency, I think is really smart.
They're not a replacement for fresh or dried herbs. It's something completely different.
The brand itself, Tarantella, which I think is the name given to an Italian folk dance, very high tempo folk dance.
How does it go?
In the south of Italy, like this.
Ole!
I really hope there's some good royalty-free content out there. Moving on.
Strictly, here we come.
New to the market, and they are £2.29 each. So quite expensive, given you might, I think, use them quite regularly, and a teaspoon, tablespoon at a time, you might get through them. But I guess if they take off, they'll probably come down in price like all new products.
Yeah, you compare that to mint sauce, which is the same thing. That is a lot of money. But if it is this new, if it gets popular,
Yeah.
it won't be long before that's as affordable.
And I would say if you've got the opportunity and you have leftover herbs and some relatively flavourless vinegar, make your own.
Great start.
Okay, then.
I'm not expecting that.
Do you like this herb, or are you kicking it to the curb?
So much sass. And you're kicking it to the curb.
It's a really strong start.
I like this herb, Ebbers.
I like it too.
Move on to round 2. Number 2.
Oh, okay.
So we've got two powdery looking substances.
So it's definitely a salt
Yeah.
with what I think is like berries, or like I'm getting cranberry.
You're getting cranberry? No, you're not.
I
Are you
am getting
sure?
cranberry.
You're getting a tart
Yeah, a tart.
fruit,
It's,
yeah. They're both salts. They're both good as a marinade if you combine with a little bit of oil. They're good as a rub, a dry rub, or just as a finishing, garnishing salt.
That one's lovely. It's got a real zinginess to it.
Zinginess is
Like
good.
a bit of a kick, a little bit of a kick.
A little bit of chilli in there.
whereas that's fruity and slightly numbing. Two very delicious spice blends, but that's nothing new to us.
These are from Saltbush, and they are Australian spice blends using indigenous ingredients. So you're absolutely right, the fancy salt is sea salt, native lemon myrtle, hibiscus flower and mint. So it is light and zesty, just as you said. And the other one I gave you was the barbecue rub, which has a number of things, including sesame, chili, nori, shiitake mushrooms, and again, that native lemon myrtle.
Well, I love a smoked salt. That is wonderful.
Yeah, I can really smell the hibiscus in this one now. The campfire salt
That's-
is smoky AF.
Yeah.
It has got that smoky sea salt, chili, black pepper, and again, that native lemon myrtle. So these three all focus on lemon myrtle, but as a company, they are celebrating so many of the indigenous plants and spices and herbs that perhaps the rest of the world is less familiar with.
It's the way of turning these into salted spice blends, also a way of preserving these things and making it easier to transport and more people will experience these ingredients.
Exactly that. Currently, while 300,000 species of plant have edible parts, just 20 species account for 90% of the world's food. And 3 of them, wheat, maize and rice, supply more than half.
Wow.
So there's 300,000 plants out there with edible parts, and we don't celebrate enough of them, and perhaps bringing back some indigenous ones is a good example. Would you like to try a garnishing salt, garnishing something?
Garnish me, Ebbers. You know what he's done?
He's taken some shrimp.
He's put it on the barbie.
Not wanting to be a cliche, but these are Australian indigenous spices, so we have given you some charred prawns. To sprinkle, I think probably the pink one would be most suited.
Okay,
The
oh,
hibiscus, the lemon myrtle, the salt.
I want to try the
But by all means, mix and match, try your own. Each one reflects a different landscape in Australia. Obviously a huge land mass, and you've got every different landscape you can imagine, and these take different spices and seasonings from each.
Wow. The salt only adds to the flavour. Honestly, it's absolutely delicious.
And it really doesn't matter whether you're putting them on meat, fish, to sprinkle onto savoury pasta dishes or roasted vegetables. No reason why some of these, as you mentioned up front, couldn't be used in desserts. Lemon myrtle, hibiscus and salt would actually really nicely finish a chocolate torte or similar. So lots of applications. These are native indigenous plants to Australia, but it made us think, what are we missing out on in the UK? For example, dandelion,
Burdock.
burdock root, medlar, lovage, a very old-fashioned herb, but those kind of ingredients, indigenous to our shores and fallen out of fashion. they're coming back.
The key to it for me is putting those ingredients into familiar settings.
Yep.
So, a finishing salt or a barbecue rub or a marinade, whatever it is, great. I'm not having to think about a new application. How am I going to integrate dandelion into my cooking at home midweek? I've got no idea. But you put it into an oil, a vinegar or a finishing salt, oh, excellent. I'm going to add that onto some grilled chicken or vegetables or something.
Price-wise, I've done a little bit of maths because these were in Australian dollars and we ended up at about £13.50 for the 3 as like a gift set, salt set. So probably more the gift market and intrigue than something you use regularly, but that puts them at about £4 or £5 each.
For someone who loves exploring food, I think these are the perfect gift. And yeah, I could definitely see me using these kind of things at home.
In which case, an ingenious indigenous blend or just a passing trend?
Ingenious is a big statement.
It is. I like the indigenous trend as a one-off.
Yes, I'm the same. I'm sorry, we're not going to give you a clear answer.
Well, keep them, use them, they might grow on you. They might come back round.
Like a boomerang?
Like a boomerang.
Right,
there we go. I'll tee them up, you fill in the blanks.
Oh my goodness sake.
Lift the cloche.
Okay, this one is definitely oily.
Definitely looks oily. Oh, there's a
it's
flavour.
citrusy.
You got citrus?
Yeah.
I've got more herby, I
I've
think.
got lemon oil.
Excellent, it is indeed lemon oil.
Oh, he's got into his nose palace.
I don't know, herby. It's not.
Herby, it's got a herb in it.
Let me go into the nose palace.
Trust me, it locks it in. And you don't have to close your eyes.
Thyme.
Very close. The other one that's very close to it.
Rosemary.
Yeah.
Right.
It's garlic and rosemary. Flavoured oils.
There's nothing new there.
These are Yare Valley oils. Rapeseed oil from Norfolk that has been cold pressed, and then these 4 have been infused, although their plain one has also won Great Taste Awards. Oh, God. I've got to put that on.
Gosh, I'm really in there, isn't it?
I wouldn't expect you to get the conversation just from holding that, but this is from a family farm in Norfolk, and the conversation is diversifying stuff on the farm. Sadly, farming arable crops is barely profitable anymore. You kind of have to always go above and beyond. There are some subsidies to do some interesting things around soil or rewilding and all that kind of stuff. But these guys realised that it was quite difficult to grow rapeseed and to sell rapeseed and to turn a profit. So instead, they just cold pressed it on site in their own setup and sell it as cold pressed rapeseed oils, and it has won countless awards. What's really smart about it is when you press rapeseed, you end up with a byproduct called rapeseed meal or rapeseed cake or just rape cake, and that is highly nutritious and they feed it to the cattle. So rather than having to import soy or equivalent to feed cattle through the winter, they are grass pasture fed during the summer, then they're brought inside to fatten up on the byproduct of this, combined with maize and wheat also grown on the farm. And what you end up with is really lovely cattle. It's all about farming within your locality and ending up with premium products as a result.
Is he about to give us a rape cake fed piece of steak?
Is that from the farm?
That's also from the farm. So that is their belted Galloway beef.
Jeremy Clarkson is obviously a very controversial figure, but I think one of the really good things he's done in the last couple of years is Clarkson's Farm as a series, because it's highlighted how difficult and challenging it is to be a farmer in the UK right now.
And it is a requirement of new generations of farmers coming in, wanting to beat the system, wanting to diversify and wanting to do something of their own.
And these are delicious. The lemon oil tastes like lemon just drizzle cake. Lemon drizzle rapeseed cake.
You could lick a steak if you want, but would you like to try one cooked?
If we have to.
We've got a wonderful recipe from Sidekick. Here it is.
Ooh, thank you.
It's pretty easy. It's a chimichurri potato and lentil salad with seared steak. It's from Sidekick. It's very easy midweek cooking, but it celebrates the rapeseed oil in the chimichurri dressing. You can add a little bit more if you want. And the steak has been cooked to 52 degrees and then seared.
Bit of garlic and rosemary.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Good.
Full transparency, like everything today, we've paid for them with our own money, but we should probably point out this is a friend of mine's family farm, and I spent a weekend with them just listening to them talk so passionately about the way they farm and the changes they made. And I know I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to this stuff, but it really is interesting. And to your point, Jay, Clarkson's made it relevant and topical.
I love a finishing oil at home, but I've got a collection. I've got about 3 or 4 at home, but they all come from Spain, Italy, or Greece.
Yeah.
None of them are UK based. So to have a British option is obviously the right thing to do, being based from the UK.
One final fact, which I found interesting, and some reports on it that came out last summer, were some studies that were done with what happens when you feed cattle rapeseed cake. It's kind of unusual, it's not their natural diet, but actually it reduces methane emissions when compared to the likes of soy. So the concerns about excess methane, albeit also bearing in mind carbon sequestration and grass-fed and all the other things that work towards the benefit of lowering those emissions, feeding them rapeseed cake is another one that helps.
For me, it's not necessarily about just the single product you're looking to buy, it's about just supporting a local farmer, be that buying their dairy products, their meat, or their oils, or any of their crops. Like, it's a great thing to be highlighting and featuring.
I completely agree.
And whilst it is still not possible for everyone, it's not accessible for everyone, perhaps by going directly to the farm, you're cutting out the margins of the people in the middle. So here's the question, is it paving the way, or should they just call it a day?
It's definitely paving the way, and we need to support it more so it's easy to lay that pavement. No. Do the other one.
I don't know.
I like that. Do the one I wrote.
Yeah, Valley Oils and everything the farm stands for. Is it Valley Valley good or Valley Valley bad? Ridiculous.
I love that one.
That's much
I
better.
love that one.
That's
I can
good.
tell you didn't write it. It's so good.
That's good.
It's very, very good.
I would have to agree. It's Valley Valley good.
Yeah.
Well, no, Izzy, that's awful.
Excellent. Food trend number 4, lift the cloche.
Oh,
Ooh, unidentifiable clear liquids.
okay. They are all different.
They are all different,
But you run out of shot glasses.
but I ran out of shot glasses and I wanted them all different so I can remember which is which.
Oh, okay. That is not water.
I'm in the room.
First of all, I'm getting petrol, but then I'm starting to get flavours. Palaces, it's going to Palaces.
It's an interesting concept because I'm not sure with any of these that you would always drink them neat and at room temperature. Perhaps over ice and into a longer drink with a soda or a tonic.
Vodka?
2 of them are vodka, 1 of them is a gin.
Oh, wow, what a lovely tingle. Oh,
That is really nice.
Any idea what we're talking about? Because gin and vodka are not trends.
Are they not made from potatoes?
1 of them is made from potatoes.
cheaper vodkas are almost drunken straight undrinkable.
Drunken straight. Do you mean just drunk straight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a sip, all right? I'm drunken.
Yeah. Oh, your eyes.
know.
Yeah.
Frost.
Oh, you're having a good time.
Let me introduce you to 3 drinks.
Oh no.
What we have here are 3 spirits that use byproducts of the food industry as their base. Fluke, which makes vodka from the wonky or undersized Jersey Royal potatoes. Discarded, they do a couple of different brands, but this particular one uses the pomace, or basically the crushed grapes and skins and stems after making Chardonnay wine. And the last one uses the remnants of sake brewing to turn into a gin that is then infused with the husks of cocoa.
I've never seen a vodka embrace the fact that it's made from potatoes. So much so, they class what potatoes it is. Now, I'm pretty sure it doesn't taste like Jersey Royals, but they're saying it as though it's the main flavour, but it's not.
But bear in mind, a Jersey Royal potato is a very special potato from a very special place, all hand planted on really steep slopes in Jersey, And when the Jersey Royal potato comes into season, foodies and chefs get very excited, and it's a relatively limited season. So they are very much playing to the popularity of a premium potato, but then they use koji, so it's the same kind of process as sake, so it has almost those sake, umami, four-dimensional notes, but to a vodka.
Oh, I feel very, very lucky. Wow. Can I drink some cocktails?
Yes. You've got a gin and tonic, a vodka soda, which has got some frozen grapes in it, and that one is also a vodka soda with a splash of blood orange juice.
That doesn't taste anything like any gin and tonic I've ever had. When it comes to the byproduct part, weirdly, I don't know enough about how alcohol is made in the first place and what it's made from. So to me, this is really smart because it's doing it as a byproduct rather than going out of its way to create a special thing by itself.
There's a danger the perception of byproduct is like replacing it with something else similar or do as good of a job just. Whereas this is as good, if not better. So I don't think you're having to replace a hole in your life at all. It can be celebrated in a completely different way.
Weirdly, I feel like this one makes too much of a point of it. That it's trying to be trendy rather than leading the trend.
So they are quite literally the wonky spuds that would otherwise have gone to feed pigs, used to rot down in fertiliser. You know, they would have had a use, but not a primary artisanal charge a premium for use. Which perhaps gives the farmers another revenue stream in, as we spoke about before, an ever-challenging market.
I buy booze for other people, not myself, either as gifts or when they come over I serve them. My only worry with these is that I don't know enough about them and I've been nervous of the new world we're entering and that my guests might not like them, so I'd probably go something more safe. But I love what they stand for and they are all absolutely delicious.
It's all about the story.
It's about the story, and I think particularly with the gin, because I can taste the cocoa in that.
It's not chocolatey, but it's like nutty.
Yeah, exactly, big time. So if you offered someone a gin and tonic, you gave them that, they'd think it's something a bit different there. I think you'd have to explain what that is and why it's there. And it's good to have a Hendrix in the background just in case they just want a normal gin and tonic.
Not brand new by any means. I don't know if you heard, we made a gin last summer and that used a byproduct, i.e. leftover surplus berries that have been frozen and upsold. But it's definitely a trend we're seeing more and more of this year. Two of those I saw at the IFE, one of them separately, but it's definitely on the upward trend as people care more about quality rather than quantity, I think, when it comes to booze. The question for you though, are these byproducts to stand by or are you just bystanders?
Oh, yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. On a very personal level, I think I'm just a bystander because I'm not that much of a fan of alcohol in general.
I'm on the journey from quantity to quality, and my way of doing that at the moment is to have both. I would like to explore more of these, but it will be in addition to rather than instead of at the moment. I will stand by whilst bystanding.
Well, that's it. Over to you guys. Comment down below 4 topics today. Mention down below in the comments which one sparked your interest the most.